Okie doke. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for stopping by the channel once again. On today's video, I want to talk about scooters, and we're starting out in front of the Honda dealership once again, where I purchased this bike. I've had it for almost a year now. Only got 710 miles on it, but that's because I have other bikes that I split my mileage between. But I wanted to come by the Honda dealership and just take a peek in the window and see what they had available for scooters, because that's what today's topic is about, talking about riding scooters. There's nothing in there. Empty. Once again, we got some little electric dirt bikes, a little gas dirt bike, and a couple of two dirt bikes in there. There was 4 in there yesterday, and 2 of them are gone already. Anyways, this is kind of a point that I want to make as far as like the availability of scooters and being able to get a hold of a scooter now in this day and age, because we have a shortage of everything. But just last week there was a Honda PCX, a brand new one, a 2022, and even though the dealership swore up and down it was 150, I knew better. It was a new 160. Great little scooters. Before that, a few weeks back, there was a Honda Metropolitan, and before that there was another 2 Metropolitans. But as far as getting scooters in stock down here, they hardly ever get them, and when they do get them, they last a day, maybe 2 on the showroom floor, and then they disappear. But anyways, let's do the intro and I'll come right back, and I want to talk about riding scooters on this video, my opinion of it. So we'll be right back. Let's talk about scooters. Now, I know a lot of people out there here in the United States anyways don't want to ride a scooter because there's some sort of, I don't know, stigma or a little bit of embarrassment associated with riding a scooter, simply because you get judged by some of the real bikers out there. They look down on you because you're riding a scooter instead of riding a real motorcycle. And in my opinion, you shouldn't care what they think. You should ride what best suits you, and what's best in your budget, and what's most practical for you. And because scooters being what they are, those things are you know, the scooter fits a lot of different roles as far as like practicality, gas mileage, usability, storage. They're just very, very practical. Unfortunately, like I just pointed out at the dealership a little bit ago, they're kind of hard to get a hold of right now because of my supply chain issues, which, you know, I'm honestly getting a little tired of hearing that excuse from everybody for everything. They are hard to get a hold of, and oftentimes when you do find one on a showroom floor, they're marked up a little bit. Honda offers several little scooters that you can buy for pretty affordable price, at least MSRP. They have the Metropolitan, they have the Ruckus, they have the PCX and the ADV 150. So I mean, they're out there, they're available, but they're extremely hard to find, which is actually really unfortunate because of gas prices being what they are. I mean, most people are paying around $5 a gallon for gas. Here we're paying it right at $5 a gallon for gas, and it's too bad, because I think a lot more people would actually ride scooters if they had the opportunity to, you know, find them and afford them for relatively cheap. There's a lot of scooters produced worldwide by a lot of different manufacturers, but unfortunately here in the state, the major manufacturers here don't produce too many different models of scooters. I mean, you have the Honda with the ones that I just mentioned. Let's see, Suzuki makes the Bergman, which is kind of a maxi scooter that's a lot bigger than just a commuter motorcycle, because it's, you know, I think they're like 650s, and they're big engines anyways. They're made for touring and stuff, and they're really big bikes. Yamaha makes the Zumo. I believe they still make the Zumo. And they also have, what is it, either the X-Max or the T-Max, which you can get in various size engine configurations. And those are really nice bikes. Then you have Vespa, which aren't all that common. It's hard to find a Vespa dealership unless you live in like a major city. Let's see, who else? Kimco, I think they make some scooters. What are they, South Korean company? They make pretty decent stuff, but once again, it's hard to find a Kimco dealership anywhere. So, I mean, while there are manufacturers that produce and make scooters in the United States, the variety of them is seriously lacking compared to everywhere else in the world. I mean, for a lot of you probably out there, you watch a channel called Itchy Boots, and she travels all over the world. And one thing you might notice watching her vlogs and her travels is that the majority of motorcycles everywhere else around the world are smaller CCs. You know, she was riding up through South America not too long ago, and everywhere she'd stop, people would always ask her, you know, oh my god, what kind of bike is this? And it's so big, you know, what size is the motor? And she's on a 300cc Honda, but in their eyes, that's a big bike, because she's riding a Honda 300 CRF 300 Rally. Beautiful bike, very capable, not extremely fast, but I'm sure it gets excellent gas mileage, and the range is killer on it. You know, she has her reasons for choosing that bike, but all around the world, you know, anything over a 150cc is considered a big bike. But here in America, you know, if you're not riding a 400 horsepower V-twin that, you know, rattles the windows out of your neighbor's house when you ride by, you're just not a real biker. You're not riding a real bike. And it's really kind of frustrating for people to have to deal with things like that. That sort of stigma associated with riding smaller CC bikes and scooters and things, because I really do think if more people own scooters, that you know, there's the energy prices and the gas prices and stuff like that wouldn't be so tough to deal with. But one problem that we do face here in the United States is people's commutes can be tens, if not sometimes hundreds of miles every day. And so riding a motorcycle and a scooter is just not practical for a lot of people, which I could totally understand that. But for those of us who live in a town or even a city, that's, you know, where we don't have to jump on the highway and travel, you know, 10, 20, 30 miles, 40 miles a day to get to our place of employment, a smaller CC scooter is extremely practical. They're extremely easy to ride. They get excellent gas mileage, and they're very lightweight. I mean, you could just flick these things around like they weigh nothing, because they practically do. Well, they feel like they weigh nothing when you're sitting on them, because all the weight's down low. And I just think they're great. So if you guys are out there, you know, you're considering buying a scooter for all the practical reasons, as long as you don't have a problem with the occasional butthead, you know, making snide comments about your scooter and it not being a real bike, I suggest you absolutely go out and buy a scooter, because they're freaking awesome. Honestly speaking, I love this bike. This has quickly become one of my favorite motorcycles that I've ever owned. You know, and I owned about a dozen or so of them over the last, you know, 5 years. This one is right up there, right next to my Honda Grom as far as like my favorite bike. So let's talk about some alternatives to the Honda ADV 150. I think the 150 class, CC class of scooters are the most practical. They're the best all-around bikes there are, because they're extremely lightweight. They got plenty of power for zipping around in traffic and getting on small back interstate roads. The gas mileage is awesome. Storage capabilities, like all the things that I keep talking about in this video, you know, all the benefits of owning a scooter. I think the 150 is a sweet spot. I don't think the bigger ones probably aren't, because they get worse gas mileage. Sure, they're faster, but they're also harder to park. They're not as nimble as far as zipping in and out of, you know, parking lots and traffic and things like that. So they're a little bit harder to justify buying one, you know, plus the additional cost. The 150 class, you're talking probably between $3,500 and $4,000 for a really good 150cc scooter. So that's, you know, if you're thinking about buying a scooter, that's where I would go with, unless you do nothing but, if you're on a college campus, or you know, you live really close to your job or something like that, then maybe a 50cc would be all right with you. To me, they're just too slow. They're cute, but just you know, I don't really subscribe to some motorcycles can be too slow, so they're, you know, they're dangerous because they're so slow. I don't really subscribe to that. But with a 50cc scooter, I will agree with that point, because yes, they are extremely slow. So buy something a little bit bigger. Another, you know, after the 150, I'd say like the 300 class of scooters is a really good choice. If your commute is just a little bit longer and you do have to hop on the highway to do some commuting, at interstate speeds, you know, around 70 miles an hour. A 300 scooter will definitely fit that role and do a good job. And then beyond that, the what they call maxi scooters, you know, the 600cc and above. There's not too many people that make those sort of things. Suzuki Bergman is one of them. That's if you're really into scooters and you want to go do some real traveling on one, then that's the route to go. But they all have a lot of things in common, including practicality, usability. They're extremely easy to ride. You basically get on, you can ride these things with one hand. You don't need your feet, you don't need your left hand, you just need your right hand, you know, because it controls your throttle and your brake, other than activating your turn signals and your high beam and low beam and all that. They're just extremely easy to ride. So to close up this video, just kind of summarize, I think scooters are freaking awesome. If you want to save some money on your commute with $5 a gallon gas, just see if you can't find a scooter out there somewhere, used or new. But if you come across one sitting in a showroom floor at a dealership, then, you know, jump on it, because about guarantee they don't last very long. And well, supply and demand, you know, they're hard to come across. But I am so glad that I bought this bike when I did, even though I don't ride it all that much. I'm glad I got it, because if I'd have passed on it, who knows? I mean, I might not have ever been able to get one. Anyways, go out there, buy a scooter, ride it. Just don't give a crap what people think about you, because, you know, it's your life, it's your money. You do what you want to do. Screw the haters. Scooters are awesome. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Laters.